Hey y'all, hey. So I'm sitting here in my yard and I just got finished doing a yoga flow, right? And I'm just thinking about just randomly I'm thinking rejection is not the worst thing. And as I was thinking about it, I'm gonna talk this thing on through with y'all, right? Rejection is not the worst thing because I think back to an old adage that I heard: rejection is God's protection. And I think about some of the times that I have been rejected myself. Um, Rejected from certain cliques, if you will, at work. Um, Rejected in friend groups. And when I say rejected, what I mean is just not allowed to fit in. When I say that's what I mean by rejected, I don't mean like somebody actually like shunned you, like, yeah. But they might have, I don't know. But what I mean is you just don't fit in. And in my own life, I come to realize that I was never supposed to fit in. I've always been the one on the outside, sitting back in the cut. I've always been the observer in all my situations in life. I've always been the observer, unless I was the first hand player. But first hand player was usually in very intimate situations, like one on one with folks. Um, I just cliques and groups and so forth. I just didn't fit in. I was always the weird one. I was always the weird one, or at least that's how I saw myself, as being the weird one, because I just couldn't relate to the stuff that they were talking about. I couldn't relate to, a lot of the things that they were doing. It just wasn't for me. And so I looked at myself as being in the words of someone dear to me, I looked at myself as in a way of being the glitch. But now, as I sit here and I'm reflecting, like, I look back on a lot of situations and I wasn't allowed to fit into those places because there's always been a calling. There's always been a pulling upon my heart where my I always say God lives in your heart, so I'm gonna say, God's spirit was just like, nah, that's not for you. And the more you try to fit in, the more painful it's going to be, because you are not meant to fit in. I share this story because um, I know this is gonna resonate with somebody too. Like, you ain't meant to fit in either. I think back to high school. I was not the popular one in high school. Nowhere near it. I was so far away from the popular crew. I think I mentioned this in a previous video where I was the one sitting back. What you want, Mr. B? Go on. I'm just trying to record. Thank you. I was always the one sitting back looking and just watching, always been observant. Um, but a part of that was because I was a geek in high school. So I definitely didn't fit in. I was a whole geek. It pays off now, but back then it felt kind of lonely. Come on now. Anyway, um, I realize now that those groups, those situations, those people, um, I wasn't meant to fit in because it just wasn't for me. I couldn't relate. They couldn't relate to me. It's all right. Because you know what? God allowed me to carve. Well, He carved my own lane for me, and I stay in it. I know this lane over here very well. I mastered it, okay? Y'all forgive me. Like I said, I've been out here doing my yoga. just enjoying the sun on this beautiful day. Um, in the meditation, I think I cried a little bit. I prayed a little bit. Yeah, it's a beautiful day out. I hope somebody else is out there enjoying this time, this day also. But that's what it is. What I got for you. I think, yeah, rejection is God's protection, and rejection ain't a bad thing. You know, you have to see yourself. You can see yourself as being different, but being different is not a bad thing either. That's unique. You know, when we all strive to have some level or layer of uniqueness to us, and I think that's really what it's about. But it gets to like accepting your uniqueness. You know, accepting your uniqueness as it not being a bad thing, but it's what sets you apart. It's what makes you different. It's what makes you you. Although we are all created from the same being, God allows us, he gave us the space to be unique, even in our oneness. Even in our oneness, He gave us the space to be unique. I had to own my uniqueness. Last night, as I was praying and meditating, I asked God, I said, why me? And He said, because of the way your mind works. Literally, I heard He said, because the way your mind works. I'm like, huh? And then He expanded in my spirit, like, you have such a creative way of, your analogies are very creative. And in my private space, my clients will tell you that, like, I be questioning some of the analogies sometimes, like, what? But He said that the analogies you use, and it comes from the creativity in your mind. I think that, we all gotta allow ourselves that creative space, whatever it is. Like, I often encourage that, as adults, we are so far, some of us, not everybody, but some of us are so far out of touch with our inner child. And that's why we so serious. That's why everything is so serious, because we've forgotten how to laugh at ourselves. We've gotten so far, we don't allow our inner children to come out and play. I mean, not for nothing, we could take the kids to Dave and Buster's, but we could go to Dave and Buster's too and have a good time and play and do whatever. Letting your inner child kind of live, not kind of, but live and thrive, is about you doing the things that really bring you joy. It's about doing the things that really bring you joy. I remember when I first got my license. I love to drive, and I still say I love to drive. But I remember getting on the highway. I ain't had no destination. I just wanted to repeat what my grandfather used to do, because he used to love to drive also. So he would take us out every Sunday morning. We get on the highway and we would just ride. And so when I got my license, that's one of the first things that I did. I got on the highway and I just drove by myself. I don't remember whether I had music on or not, but I couldn't go but too far, because that doggone car wasn't gonna make it. That was my first car, but anyway, I remember doing that, and that was one of the things that brought me joy. We got to get back into real what brings us joy and amplify that. give ourselves the time, the space, the energy, really dedicate energy to pouring into that which really brings us joy. We've lost touch. Some of us with that the little girl or the little boy within. There is a work that we have to do, sure. But you must still find time to play. And by play, that we call it self-care, we call it taking time for you, whatever. It's you loving on you. Doing something that really brings you joy, something that you really enjoy doing. Not like a chore. Chores ain't fun. Not like a chore. But something you really enjoy. This yoga, I enjoy. I lost touch with it. Um, I found it in 2020 during COVID, C-19, whatever. I found it. And when we would call to go back into the office, I lost it. I've been trying to get back. And that was what, about a year after finding it, I lost it. So I had a nice little routine, and they called us back to the office. That was the first time where I heard God. I want to say, I can't say I heard God speak, but I said it, and I feel like God agreed. They in the way. Meaning the job at the time. This job in my way. It's in my way. Like literally, it's in my way of my health. It's in my way of my business, because I had not started the business at that time. So yeah, it was in the way. It was in the way, man. Then I left the job and got back here. I was able to work from home, and I still been trying to find that flow, trying to find that again, trying to find that the joy that I once had in yoga. And there's other things. So first it was the job in the way, and now there's other things that keep me from really obligations, I'll say, so I don't know. This story time that went a whole nother way. I was talking about rejection being a good thing. I don't know how I got here. But anywho, I hope you enjoyed story time with me. And if you did, come back and check me out. I got more stories, and they tend to they go all around the neighborhood. Okay? All right. Love y'all. Bye.